Hey everybody, this is Nathan down here at the Gold Cove, just outside of Detroit, Roseville, Michigan, 25555 Gratiot. I know I always start out with that. If you don't like it, I apologize. We have been getting a lot of visitors. And so I want you guys to listen to the whole video because at the end I'm going to show a few things off that came in this week that I thought might be special, and I might tell a story. But today what we're going to talk about is what can I expect to get from a coin shop if I sell my goods. So what can I expect to get? And so I'm gonna go over silver a little bit. I'm gonna go over the gold part a little bit, maybe kind of what we're paying here, but also what some other friends in the industry that own stores are paying as well. I have not taken a sample of national activity and different things, just my neck of the woods. And so most dealers, if you're selling 1 ounce gold coins, I think they're paying $100 back. And then I had a friend that owns a store in Illinois. He travels the country buying from dealers. He said at his store, he's paying 95% of spot for 1 ounce pieces. Doesn't matter if it's an eagle or a 1 ounce bar. So 95%, I think that's gonna be, I don't know, 17, 18, $170, $180 under spot. And I think there's good reason for that. Number one, like a lot of the big national bullion houses that you might send your stuff to, they're paying dealers under spot. And so if I buy for 100 under spot and then I sell for 30 under spot, that's a $70 spread on a $3,500 transaction. So it's not huge. Why would I sell to a larger bullion house and not just in my store, you might ask? And that's a good question. I can imagine you might guess at these rates, there are a lot of sellers and a few buyers. And so we are buying much more than we can sell retail in the stores. And so that buying pressure causes us to have to go outside of the store to sell and liquidate, make a profit, recapitalize. Dealers around the country are having to do that. And so that is the case there. In addition to that, the silver, I think if you can find somebody to give you $1 back for 1 ounce. Let me go back to gold for a second. If you have slabbed gold, same thing. If you have box gold, same thing. And so even if you have fractional gold, a lot of times if you call and say, hey, I got 4 1/4 ounces, it's going to be the same thing, $100 back for the good dealers and $200-300 back. I mean, I have people all the time come in, let's say gold's $3,500. And they'll say, I got offered $2,500 or $2,700. If you go to an outlier that's not really a coin shop, they'll offer you whatever they want. And a lot of people sell it because that's $2,500 is a lot of money. So if they're somebody that inherited it and they really don't know, they might sell it for a low price like that. So we're gonna move on to silver. Silver is the premiums on silver when you go to sell. Now, one of the big bullion warehouses that I watch, they're paying spot minus $1. And so if you are a coin shop that has to sell it outside of your store, because silver is even worse. Like people will come in right now and they're buying gold. So I'm starting to get, it feels like the higher gold goes, the more I see a few buyers coming back into the market. Now, those are more big buyers than the little guys buying a 1/2 ounce or 1 ounce. And so silver, I'm not selling much silver at the counter at all. So the big bullion houses, they might pay $1 back right now. And so I think many of your dealers that you'll see, you'll have the ones on YouTube and they're like, oh, we're paying 75 cents back. But most of your dealers in small towns or middle market towns all across America, I think they're paying a couple dollars back a spot. And so if you, in even eagles, they're under spot right now. Because to sell a silver eagle, like I might have 10 or 12 monster boxes stacked up because nobody's buying them. And I really don't want to wholesale them, but I might come to that. And I think the biggest dealers for the eagles, they might be paying $1 over spot. And so if you pay spot, you're going to make $1 a coin, but you still got to ship it and deal with the maybe potential loss in your mind, like, oh, something could happen in the mail, and you have shipping costs. So most dealers, they're paying under spot. $1, they might pay $1 under for eagles, $2 under for eagles. They might look at everything the same right now. And so if you got a maple, a generic, an eagle, some dealers might offer you $2 under spot across the board. I think that would be fairly normal. And 90%, I think you get what you can get right now. I talked to a friend of mine that owns a good sized coin shop, bullion house in our area. I say good size, I guess, for my area. And he goes, I can't even wholesale my 90% right now. It's so low. So he's just hoarding it and stockpiling it. And so if you have 90% right now, you might find somebody to give you 27 times. But I think a lot of dealers across America are going to be in the mid 20s right now, 24, 25. And you might look at it as low, and maybe it is. There is just not a market for it. So the pressure for dealers to have to buy at high margins to satisfy their customers, not high margins, but high dollars with no margins or no outlets, is a little bit unfair on that side of the table. Now, that's not always the case. Premiums change. You know, I remember times where I paid $5, $7 over for a Silver Eagle, and we paid spot or $1 or $2 over for generic. I would say traditionally a dealer wants to pay about spot. But there are supply and demand, right? If you can't sell it, you can't buy it high. And so that's what I got. A couple things that came in this week that I thought were exciting. You know, we still get a lot of stuff, but a lot of it's average. It's just regular stuff that comes in, so I'm not putting it out. But a few fun things that came in was this Panda set came in. I think there is 25 125th Panda coins from all different years. So the Chinese government made this. Chinese coins used to be really popular. So your pandas, your silver pandas, your gold pandas, they make a different design every year. It's really cool. They used to be really popular. And I think maybe during the Trump era when China became the enemy, people are like, I don't want those Chinese coins. But this is super collectible. There's a huge population in China, so there is still demand where there's you know, a lot of Chinese folks and not a whole lot of coins. So this was pretty cool. It came in, you know, you're like, what's in the box? What's in the box? And you open it up. Just cool, right? Packaging is a big deal. I even made sure with the customer that there was not another level of coins underneath it, because that commonly will be the case. Maybe I thought there was a drawer, but there's not. So sometimes you'll lift this out and this will come out and there'll be another layer of coins underneath it in some of these boxes that are like that. Another thing, Jeffrey, my son, he's still on vacation. I think he's coming back tonight. He'll be back to work tomorrow. He bought this rare Morgan dollar. It is the king of key dates in the Morgan dollar. So most people will never have one of those. But just a really, really princely, kingly key date coin to have. And so when we get them in, we don't usually have them very long. It's super expensive, but they're rare. And so it's actually a pretty good investment. Another thing came in, and this is one of those things I told you about, where, you know, we just paid the normal rate for gold. And, you know, look at the presentation on that. There's a 1 ounce, a quarter. Is that a quarter, Caleb?
Yeah.
1 ounce, quarter ounce, 10th ounce. I don't know what happened to the half ounce. Caleb tells me there is a 1 ounce silver that is supposed to go here. We did not see those come in, but, you know, somebody might take a lot of pride that I own this, and too bad it's just gold at these high rates. So if you bring in slabbed eagles or buffaloes, I think you should expect to get the gold price. Can you find 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 100 dealers that might pay more because it's slabbed? Maybe. I have put in orders, you know, like in the past. I remember one guy I deal with, I said, hey, I need 20 gold buffaloes. He goes, do you care if they're slabbed? I'm like, no. And same price, because when it gets high like this, people really don't want to pay much extra for the slabs. So the same guy that brought those in, brought in all these 1 ounce pieces, more quarters, more tenths. I'm sure for me to move these, I'm just going to sell them like bullion, you know, and they're kind of cool. They got a signature on the back. Probably, where are these from? These are Cook Islands, so I'm not sure the provenance, but it might be that the U.S. Mint made these for the Cook Islands. So Michael Reagan is the signer. I know he signs a lot of the U.S. coins as well. And so that's all I got there. It's fun, you know, fun, interesting stuff that's come in this week. We might have an outlier poured bar or something that was silver that came in, but this is the stuff that I thought, oh wow, that's cool, and it really catches you. I know one person came in and sold a bunch of U.S. Mint box stuff yesterday, some Carson City GSA coins and different things like that. And I want to tell you guys real quick, when we talk about the premiums and the lack of, you know, premiums, like what you're going to get when you sell. I was sitting with a dealer friend of mine. We did a transaction. I had I think it was about $84,000 worth of stuff that I was selling him. And I said, hey, what are you doing with your 90% coins? And I kind of talked about this a minute ago. What are you doing with 90%? He said, I'm hoarding it. Can't get enough to sell it, to wholesale it. I said, what about 100-ounce bars? He goes, Al, for you, he goes, I try to sell them, but for you, I would sell them $2 under spot. I said, what are they? He said, Johnson, Matthey, and Engelhardt. He said, $2 under spot. And I said, okay, well, that money you owe me for what I'm selling you, why don't you just pay me in 100-ounce bars? So instead of leaving with money, I ended up leaving with 20 100-ounce bars that I can wholesale for a little bit better than that. And I brought that story out to show you that there are dealers that are selling for $2 under spot 100-ounce bars. That's crazy, right? For an Engelhardt, for a JM. And so what is he going to pay you? And this is one of the leading bullion houses in my area. He's bigger than I am. And so, not that I'm huge, right? Let's be humble. But he's been around since the 50s. And so if he's going to sell to me for $2 under spot, what is he going to buy it from the public when they call for? $3 might be optimistic, right? He might be paying $3 back. He might be paying $4 back. I'm not sure. But when there's no demand for some of those bigger things, these dealers have got to either wholesale or they really reduce their buy prices. And so guys, thanks for watching. Listen, what I need you to do is subscribe. We're really trying, I think we've been going at this for 1 year. We really looked at our metrics for next year. We want to grow some more and accelerate what we're doing to bring you better content. And so if you wouldn't mind subscribing, like this video, leave some comments, right? What do you see? What are your dealers paying right now? Like I have some customers that I really favor. They do tons of business with me. I'm flexible on what I'll pay them or what I'll sell to them for, right? So it's very important to make a relationship with your local dealer because that will matter. But go ahead and let us know like what you expect in your area or what you've had experience with in the last month, 2 months, 3 months when you sell, what folks that are watching can expect to get. Thanks for hanging out with us. Have a great day. Don't waste it. Appreciate it. Nathan here at the Gold Cove.